Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered if we're truly alone? Well, a recent discovery might have just brought us one step closer to an answer. And it's a story that starts with a secret NASA tried to keep. Just imagine this. A new image of an interstellar comet named 3E Atlas has just shattered everything we thought we knew. This wasn't just any discovery. It was a revelation so profound that NASA delayed its release for weeks. Why the secrecy? What did they find that was so world-changing? Captured by the SPHEREx telescope at the edge of Jupiter's orbit, 3E East Atlas wasn't behaving like any comet we've ever seen. Forget the gentle trails of water vapor our textbooks describe. Instead, this object from another star system is cloaked in a colossal 348,000 kilometer sphere of blood-red gas. And it's not water. It's raging with carbon dioxide, venting an astonishing 70 kilograms of it every single second, while releasing almost no water at all. This breaks every model of cometary science. So, why would NASA hesitate to share this? Were they just being cautious? Or did they stumble upon something so alien, so inexplicable, that they were afraid to even name it? The official policy is clear. Data goes public within 60 days. But this wasn't routine. This was an object from another star, behaving in a way no one could explain. While the agency stayed silent, astronomers began to speculate. Was the delay a simple matter of checking the calibration? Or were they grappling with numbers that made no scientific sense? In a field where new discoveries are usually celebrated with fanfare, the silence felt heavy, almost ominous. The stakes were massive. If this was a natural phenomenon, our entire understanding of comets needed a complete rewrite. But if it wasn't natural ... well, the implications reach far beyond astronomy. Now, the data is out, but the questions have only just begun. The answer, it seems, lies hidden within that mysterious red coma, a coma no one ever expected. Let's travel out to the edge of our solar system, 3.2 astronomical units from the Sun, just beyond Mars, brushing Jupiter's orbit. This is where 3E Atlas revealed its true, baffling nature. In mid-August 2025, NASA's new infrared surveyor, SPHEREx, caught the comet right when it should have been quietly waking up. Instead, the data painted a picture of a carbon dioxide coma, so vast it completely dwarfed the object at its core. The numbers are simply staggering. The shell of CO2 stretched 348,000 kilometers from the nucleus. That's almost the distance from the Earth to the Moon, but extending in every direction, forming a perfect eerie sphere. Not a tail, not a lopsided spray of sphere. SPHEREx measured the carbon dioxide pouring off the comet at about 70 kilograms per second. That's more than 9 quadrillion molecules venting into space every single second. And the water vapor? The signal was so weak it barely even registered. The maximum estimate was just 4.5 kilograms per second. There were no jets, no blue streaks of ionized gas, no sign of the classic water-driven tail that marks almost every comet we've ever studied. Instead, there was just this blood-red fog of CO2, dense and impossibly smooth, engulfing the object like a thermal shroud. This is simply not what's supposed to happen at this distance from the Sun. Normally, as comets get closer, the Sun's warmth causes their water ice to sublimate, turning directly into gas. That water vapor is the engine that drives the whole show, building the coma, creating the tail, and carrying dust and organic materials into space. But 3E Atlas has thrown that entire playbook out the window. Here, carbon dioxide is the star. The coma is freakishly symmetric, with none of the chaotic jets or localized outbursts that water activity usually creates. The gas expands uniformly in all directions, forming a perfect shell rather than a streamer. The scale, the chemistry, the symmetry, all of it is an outlier. While astronomers expect some CO2 activity, especially at the edge of the frost line, they have never seen anything on this level. The production rate, the smoothness, and the sheer size of the coma are the details that force everyone to take a second and a third look. If there is any water on 3E Atlas, It must be buried incredibly deep or locked away in a form that SPHEREx sensors can't detect. The numbers tell a simple yet revolutionary story. At a distance where water should rule, carbon dioxide has taken over completely, rewriting the very definition of what a comet can be. This anomaly isn't subtle. It's measured in hundreds of thousands of kilometers and kilograms per second, and in the stunning absence of everything we thought was familiar. To understand just how strange this is, we need to go back to the first look we got of 3E Atlas. On July 21, 2025, the Hubble Space Telescope gave us our initial baseline. It saw a tiny nucleus, probably less than a kilometer wide, maybe only 300 to 500 meters, hidden inside a faint expanding coma. The team calculated this size by carefully subtracting the surrounding dust and gas to isolate the solid core. But when SPHEREx conducted its infrared scan just weeks later, the numbers didn't add up. Something was very, very wrong. Hubble saw a tiny object. SPHEREx saw a colossal, glowing sphere of gas. The mystery deepened. Was this a tiny nucleus producing an impossibly large amount of gas? Or was the nucleus itself something else entirely? The discrepancy between the visible light data from Hubble and the infrared data from SPHEREx points to something truly bizarre. Could the nucleus be much larger than Hubble estimated, but dark and non-reflective, making it appear small? Or is it possible that the object isn't a solid nucleus at all, but something far more exotic? The eerily perfect spherical shape of the coma is perhaps the biggest puzzle. Natural comets are lumpy, uneven bodies. As they spin and tumble through space, the sun heats different parts of their surface, causing jets of gas to erupt from active regions. This is what creates the characteristic tails and irregular comas we're used to seeing. A perfectly smooth, spherical outflow of gas suggests that the entire surface of 3E Atlas is outgassing uniformly. How is that possible for a natural object? Is it a perfectly spherical body, heated evenly on all sides? Or is the outgassing process itself fundamentally different from anything we've encountered? This level of symmetry is more reminiscent of something engineered, something designed, than a chaotic chunk of ice and rock from another star system. The implications are, frankly, mind-boggling. We are either witnessing a completely new type of natural cosmic phenomenon that will force us to rethink astrophysics, or we are looking at the first strong evidence of something artificial. The silence from NASA starts to make more sense now, doesn't it? Announcing a discovery that you can't explain is one thing. Announcing a discovery that seems to defy the laws of nature as we know them and hints at something beyond nature is another thing entirely. The questions just keep piling up. What is 3E Atlas? A new class of comet? An alien probe? Or something else that no scientist dares to name yet? We're standing on the precipice of a discovery that could change humanity's place in the cosmos. In the vast, silent theater of space, a new actor is taking the stage, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen. Its name is Comet Succingenae TLAS, or as some have nicknamed it, 3E Atlas, and it's presenting astronomers with a paradox so profound, it's forcing us to question the very nature of comets. It all started in August 2025, in the story we're retelling when NASA's SPHEREx telescope got its first good look at this interstellar visitor. What it saw was staggering. The total reflected light at a wavelength of 1 micron was completely off the charts. It was far, far brighter than what a typical sub-kilometer comet core could ever produce. Let's put this in perspective. Earlier observations, like those from the Hubble Space Telescope, estimated the comet's solid nucleus to be tiny, maybe just 300 to 500 meters across. A cosmic pebble, really. But the brightness SPHERex detected told a wildly different story. If all that intense light was coming directly from the nucleus, simple math pointed to a colossal body, nearly 46 kilometers in diameter. That's not a small discrepancy. It's a difference of nearly 2 orders of magnitude. It's like mistaking a basketball for a hot air balloon. So, what's going on? Is Hubble wrong? Is SPHERex wrong? The mystery only deepened when scientists looked at the comet's coma, the cloud of gas and dust surrounding the nucleus. SPHEREx didn't see the chaotic jets or patchy plumes we usually associate with active comets. Instead, the coma was a perfect sphere. From every angle, it looked the same, smooth, uniform, as if sunlight was bouncing off a perfectly distributed cloud of particles. The reflectivity pattern was almost mirror-like, scattering light evenly in all directions. There were no hot spots, no shadows, no sign of the tiny nucleus peeking through the haze. This is where the paradox locks in. On one hand, we have Hubble's sharp vision saying the core is small. On the other, SPHERex's brightness measurement screams that something enormous is out there. And the coma's perfect symmetry refuses to take sides, adding another layer of weirdness. Astrophysicists and photometric modelers scramble to make sense of it. One idea is that the coma's dust grains are incredibly tiny and icy. If so, they could scatter sunlight with extreme efficiency, creating a brilliant halo that massively boosts the comet's apparent brightness without needing a giant core. But for this to be true, it would mean that over 99% of the light reaching SPHEREx is coming from these microscopic, reflected particles, not from the nucleus itself. The comet would essentially be a master of camouflage, hiding its true small self behind a dazzling veil of its own making. The numbers force a choice. Either 3E Atlas hides a massive unseen core rivaling the largest comets ever discovered, or its coma is so dense and made of such finely grained dust that it acts as a nearly perfect reflective shell, diffusing sunlight in all directions. Instrument teams on both sides of the debate ran the calculations again and again. They checked the flux, the scattering angles, the dust grain size, every variable was scrutinized. But the dilemma held firm. The core question just hangs there, suspended in the vacuum of space. Is 3E Atlas a behemoth in disguise or a master of illusion? Now let's dig into the chemistry, because that's where things get even stranger. At a distance of 3.2 astronomical units from the Sun, that is more than 3 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun, 3E Atlas is venting a massive amount of gas. But it's not the gas we expect. SPHEREx revealed a colossal 348,000 kilometer wide coma made almost entirely of carbon dioxide. The outflow is immense, clocking in at about 70 kilograms per second. That's like tossing a large suitcase full of dry ice into space every single second. But here's the kicker. Water vapor, which is usually the star of the show for comets at this distance, barely registers. There's almost no water. This is an unprecedented signature for a comet so far from the Sun. It defies our models. Mainstream comet science, which relies on hard numbers and observable patterns, is working overtime to explain this. One theory suggests a kind of thermal blanket of carbon dioxide ice on the comet's surface. As it sublimates, it will create the smooth, spherical coma we see, while keeping the surface cool enough to prevent the water ice from turning to vapor. This fits the coma's symmetry, but it doesn't fully explain why we see virtually no water at all. Another option is that the water ice is buried deep beneath a thick layer of dust, shielded from the sun's rays. This works on paper, but again, the complete lack of even a trickle of water vapor is hard to square. You'd expect some to escape. A third possibility is that the comet's surface chemistry is just alien, so fundamentally different from any comet we've studied that it doesn't follow the usual playbook. Each theory has its merits, but none provides a perfect fit. And then there's the other argument, the one that sits at the edge of the table, championed by figures like Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb. He looks at the data, the perfect geometry, the bizarre chemistry, the coma's eerie perfection, and asks a provocative question. Could this be a shell, not a cloud? A structure, not a natural process? He points to the lack of a tail, the absence of hot spots, and the sheer weirdness of it all, suggesting we should at least consider the possibility that it's an artifact of intelligent design. Now, most astronomers don't buy it. They weigh the evidence, the reproducible measurements, the familiar, if oddly behaved, chemistry, and the principles of natural outgassing. The consensus holds that 3E Atlas is just a very, very odd comet, but still within the vast bounds of cosmic chance. In the rigorous scoring of scientific hypotheses, Loeb's idea scores low on evidence, but high on imagination. It's not ruled out, but it's certainly not required to explain the data. Of course, the ghost of ʻOumuamua, that first interstellar object that tumbled through our solar system, lingers in the background. That object, with its strange shape and non-gravitational acceleration, left scientists with more questions than answers. 3E Atlas is different. It glows. It vents gas. It follows physical rules, just not the ones we expected. So, the scientific community is keeping a tally. On one side, natural explanations. They're strong, but they have to be stretched to their limits to fit the facts. On the other side, the artifact hypothesis. It's possible, but it remains entirely unproven. The good news is, we won't be stuck in this limbo forever. 3E Atlas is currently moving closer to the sun. As it heats up, its activity will change. Will water vapor finally appear? Will jets and plumes erupt, breaking the perfect symmetry? Will a tail form? The next phase of observation will provide more heat, more activity, and most importantly, more data. This new information will inevitably tip the scales. For now, the evidence sits in the open, a grand cosmic puzzle waiting for the final piece to be slotted into place. 3E Atlas stands as a rare and profound enigma, challenging what we know about the visitors from deep space and reminding us that no matter how much we learn, the universe always has another surprise waiting. Some cosmic questions remain beautifully, tantalizingly open. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to the edge of our understanding. What do you think 3E Atlas is? A natural wonder or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the biggest mysteries of the cosmos, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. We'll be watching 3E Atlas, and we'll be back with updates as soon as they come in.